how did the McCartney thing happen?
Oh, that's another wild and long and lovely story. I had been working in France with, you might know, Johnny Hallyday and Mylène Farmer, two huge French artists that have come to Canada to play in, French-speaking at Toronto and Quebec areas. But they were big arena and stadium artists in France, and I was lucky enough to get that gig back in the mid-90s. Well, the person who got the drum chair on both of those gigs, one after the other, was none other than Abe Laboriel Jr. And we became quick buds, and roll forward a couple of years later, 5 years later, after a bunch of tours with each of those French artists together, Abe announced that he's going to stay in town next time to do K.D. Lang and to do some other stuff like that. And another year goes by, and he goes like, "You're not going to believe this. I just got a call to play with Paul McCartney." And I'm like, "Dude." I ran back to town and just said, "Let me just shake your hand." Anyway, he's at a birthday party of mine, 2002, and January. And I said, "Well, are you going to go out on the road?" He goes, "Yeah, I am." I go, "Wow, that's amazing. Well, who's going to play bass when he's playing guitar or piano, and then play guitar when he's playing bass?" And he goes, "That's a good question, man. We're looking for a guitar player who plays bass." And I went, "Ding, ding, ding." I said, "Well, I would love a shot at that." And it's that simple. Abe said, "Hey, that's a cool idea. I'll put your name forward." And then that was all of Abe's involvement in that. He did put my name forward, and David Kahn, the great producer of so many cool hits, including Sublime, Bangles, Paul McCartney, he had a meeting with me, liked me. He then put my name forward to the next round, and I got a call the next day. "Can you be on a plane to go to New Orleans to play with Paul McCartney in 2002? That was it,
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you're playing bass and Paul McCartney is the one who's on piano or is on lead guitar, I mean, Paul McCartney plays bass. So he kind of, he understands the instrument probably better than most people.
Right. And it's rather intimidating, and it's a privilege, of course. And God, to be honest with you, nobody is the right match for that except Paul McCartney. He's the guy who should be playing bass on every Paul McCartney song ever. But he wants to also play guitar and piano. So somebody's got to do it. And I really relished a sort of, I don't know, the trust that he's given me, and sort of an apprenticeship, to play a bit of bass. And it's lovely. I mean, those bass lines, he doesn't just play bass. He invented bass in popular music, in my mind, like in the same way that James Jamerson, redefined bass in rhythm and blues with Smokey and all the Motown acts. Well, Paul did the same, and coincidentally loved James Jamerson in pop and rock and roll music. There's just no one better. After him would be John Entwistle, but as far as reinventing, it's Paul McCartney,